Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio mod spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me. And today we are covering the building platform mod. Now, I just started a series on this, a multiplayer series with Scarhoof, and there were quite a few questions in regards to the mod and what you could do with it or customize with it and such. So I figured it was a good time to cover it. Plus, it's pretty cool in general, really good for some challenge stuff. So what this does is this adds these special building platforms or concrete pads in the world here that are randomly generated, and by default this is the only place, these platforms are the only places you can build most of your structures. So like these are cheat mode things, but even these I can only build on the platforms. You see I can't place them out here. Same with like furnaces, assemblers, your power, like steam engines, boilers, stuff like that. You know, you can't place on anywhere except the platforms. Now belts and inserters can be placed outside of it. To show you here, same with train track and stops and signals can all be placed outside of it, obviously. But most of your main stuff by default can only be placed on these platforms. Now, before you panic, this is very customizable. You can pretty much set whatever you want that can be placed or not placed on the platforms, and you can change how they're generated and stuff. So this is default settings. I've generated out the map for you to show you what the default map settings look like with the platforms, and they're not great. I'm gonna be honest, you know, they're not great. They're very odd shaped, and you know that may be good or bad. It would definitely be challenging, but they're not very big. Now you can change this in the resource generation settings. Also, you can use RSO. It works fine, except it makes them a little more squarish or blocky, which in some cases you may prefer. Now there is a way to get around this in the RSO config, which is stated on the mod portal page for this, which will be linked in the description if you want to figure out how to do that. But personally, I actually prefer using RSO just for normal resources and for this. So this is what you get with vanilla. Now, if we leave here really quick, I want to show you some of these settings. So if we go into options and mods, there's all these different settings you can do with it. So you can make them craftable. By default, they're not craftable and they're not mineable. So if you do make them craftable, just keep in mind that once you place it, you can't get rid of it. They're not mineable at all. There's not even a config for it. But they are craftable if you want. By default, it's off. And you can change their recipe. Normal is just, you know, some stone, brick, and water. Normal expensive is that times 10. And the electronic is advanced circuits with less stone, but lubricant in place of water. And then electronic expensive is that, except 10 times as expensive. Then cheap just makes it super cheap and pretty much makes them pointless because it's just, you can make them however you want, whenever you want. And then you can add a long-range radar, which, you know, is just scans farther out and stuff, twice as far as vanilla, which will kind of help you find platforms faster and stuff. You can use the old texture, the white concrete, block tiles on platforms. You can stop like tiles being concrete and stuff from being placed. And then this is where you can choose what can go on them or not. By default, combinators, roboports, and logistics chests are unrestricted, meaning you can place them wherever you want. These things that are unchecked means that they're restricted to the platforms. So if you want to make them unrestricted, then just check it and you'll be good to go. And then the platform generator, there's three different options. Default, which you just saw, concentric circle, and grid. I'll show you these two in a second. And then the speed penalty, the tile speed penalty, and the speed platform speed bonus apply only to the concentric circle generation, and then the space between platforms and square grid length applied to the grid setting for like the sizes and stuff. So there's all the settings. Changing this does require a restart, so just keep that in mind. And then in the map, there's not anything there or per player. So then if we cancel, I'm going to show you what these look like. So this is what the grid looks like. It just generates them in a grid like this. You know, you may like it, you may not. It could be an interesting challenge though, maybe, you know, running like rails between each of them or something. So this is what this looks like. It's going to do this throughout the whole map. And then the circle is actually quite interesting. It does this. So this almost looks like some like nautical like map or something. So it generates the platforms like this. Now, this seems not great because they're not actually solid. They, like there's all these gaps, so you can't actually place everywhere on here, which, again, maybe a challenge you want or not. Because there's these little parts where you can't place anything because it's not actually platform. So do keep that in mind. And then there's these parts that go out, which are fairly decent. And then there's, yeah, so that's what it does. And some of the options for the concentric circle thing, where you see these missing parts, would have put like concrete through here where you can run even faster. So that's what that would have done. But that's what that looks like. And then really quickly, I want to load up a save for you. This is what it looks like with RSO. I'm not going to generate it all the way out because I don't have RSO on right now. But just to show you, you'll notice these are a little bit more blocky. So that's just kind of what you'll get with RSO. It's really not, I mean, they're still a little bit odd shaped. So it's not like squares or anything. And then last, I want to show you that you can change the size and frequency of them in your resource settings here. But if you do increase the frequency, you're going to want to probably increase the size, because the way it generates them is with the higher frequency, it actually shrinks them. So you'll want to increase size as well. But you can do that, and it does make them quite a bit bigger. There you go, guys. That is a building platform mod. Very cool for challenges. I'm having a ton of fun with it in our multiplayer series. You can do a lot of stuff, maybe some self-imposed challenges in addition to it. I think it could be quite fun. So link in the description to the mod port if you want to check it out. There's a lot more details and pictures and stuff there. And yeah, I hope you found this helpful and enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like. I'd love to hear your thoughts below as always. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.